Well, the transfer window's open, the rumours are flying about, and Sunderland have done fuck all really when it comes to transfers. Well, sorry, they've done one thing. So right, now I'm gonna, because there's one thing that's bothering me here, and it's actually not about Sunderland, and I just can't work out why they've done it for. So Newcastle fans, I've got a question for you. Why the fuck would you sell Andros Townsend and bring in Matt Ritchie? Um, okay, so that's the question for you, because to me, Andros Townsend, despite the fact he fell massively out of favour at Spurs to the point where he wasn't even on the bench. Okay, he had a few good games for Newcastle, I'm not going to deny that. And then he had a few sort of mediocre games as well. Why the fuck would you sell him and bring in that for the same price as well? You sell Townsend for 13 million, bring in Ritchie for roughly the same price. I don't know. I just, yeah. And I can understand you brought in a new goalkeeper as well, which is understandable because your goalkeepers get injured more times than I fucking have on dinners, that's for sure. But yeah, there's a question for you. Why would you sell Townsend and bring in Ritchie? Because to me, Townsend is by far a better fucking player. And I could not work out why. Because keeping hold of Townsend and playing him alongside Shelby, or even having Shelby in the midfield with Townsend, not necessarily alongside him, that would have been instrumental for you to bounce straight back. But now you've got Matt Ritchie, who's gone down a level. I can't work out why. Why would you do that? And you can't really complain too much about the wage bill because you get given an entire season to reduce that anyway. But if you're already promoted back up, then it doesn't really matter. What's the worst you're going to face? A little fine from the Football League? What do you fucking do? It's not going to matter, is it? But, yeah, I can't get my head around it. If you've got your head around it, then please feel free, comment below, let me fucking know why the hell you made that Spanish way to move. That's all I can really fucking put it down to. So going back to Sunderland anyway, now that the crap's out of the way. Yeah, so Santiago Virginie, he's gone, he's out the door, £1.5 million. Hardly world-breaking news, is it, to be fair, I mean, he fell massively out of favour, and let's put this, he did have a couple of good games, but for about 99.9% of the time, he was shite. Utter fucking shite, wasn't he? Yep. So he's gone. Thank God. 1.5 million in the bank. And then there's Stephen Fletcher. Well, where do we begin with this? This has an Andros Townsend feel to it, except without a transfer fee involved. Enjoying a nice cup of coffee, it's great. Stephen Fletcher, who spent, as we all know, Sunderland fans, the end of last season on loan to Marseille, where, to my surprise, he actually played pretty well. I was surprised they didn't offer him a contract. Stephen Fletcher has decided to join Sheffield Wednesday. So you've gone from Premier League to League One, and now you're in the Championship, I believe it is, for Sheffield Wednesday. Okay. So I don't know what's more of a bullshitty move. Newcastle actually selling Townsend, or Fletcher going to Sheffield Wednesday. Again, I'll let yourselves make your minds up on that one. But oh fucking hell, it's fucking bonkers, isn't it? It really is. Moving on to possible players coming in. One name that seems to be doing the rounds quite a lot is James Morrison. He couldn't agree terms with West Brom. He's out of contract. Personally, I'm stuck for this one because I can understand why the likes of Sam Allardyce, if rumours are true, would want to bring in James Morrison. But at the same point, with the team we've got now, where would you play him? You know, could you stick him in to replace Jan and Villa? No, he's no Jan and Villa. Not a chance. Not by any stretch of the imagination. He is nowhere near up to the par of what Jan and Villa is. So it's gonna be a real tricky one, because while Morrison can be a good player on his day, he can be fucking awful. He really can. Yeah, I know Villa had a few bad games for us, but do you want a few or do you want a lot? You know, and that's the thing. You got to ask yourself the question. You know, West Brom being a Premier League club, why wouldn't they want to keep hold of him? You know, that's the sort of questions I look for. Don't get me wrong. I could be wrong. This could all blow up my fucking ass. Morrison could sign for Sunderland, and he could have a fantastic fucking season. You know, running the midfield. But it's a tricky one. It really is. It's such a tricky one. But will he come? Personally, at the minute, it's just rumours doing the rounds. I can't really see it, because, which I'll touch on for a little bit in a minute, is, well, the whole fucking, how most Premier League clubs for some reason are trying to raid League One. I don't know why. Not Football League One, but French League One. So yeah, and speaking of Jan and Villa, well, frozen out of the first team, Ruben Kazan. So that's very interesting, because does that mean that there is an offer being thrashed out? Personally, that's what I like to think. But it could be a dozen other things, couldn't it? You know, he could have picked up a knock. They could be trying to acclimatise him back again, because let's face it, Russia's a fucking cold, bollocks shrinking, dick shrivelling country, isn't it? You know, so you know, you go to Russia for a week, you come back, you got nipples longer than the fucking Channel Tunnel. It's that fucking cold. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting, because if he's been frozen out the first team, as far as I knew, he was fully fit. I know he picked up a couple of knocks towards the end of the season, but he was ready and raring to go, going back there, and he's been frozen out the first team, been told to train alone. So personally, I wonder whether they are trying to thrash out a deal, and maybe keep him out the team. You know, the whole negativity sort of vibe that goes on. You know, oh, well, if he's not going to be staying, why is he training with it? You know, that sort of thing. It does happen in football. It does happen with teams. It does happen in fucking League One. It does happen in the Championship, the Premier League. It eludes me. The Spanish Premier League. You know, can't remember the actual name of it. Liga A, is it something like that? Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see sort of what is happening there, whether anything really develops. I haven't seen anything else other than the fact he's still frozen out of the first team while they've been training. You know, being told to train on your own as well, it's going to be so fucking debilitating, isn't it? It really has. So my theory is they're thrashing out a deal. That's what I like to see, and ideally I'd probably like to see maybe £7-8 million, and I think that'd be quite reasonable. So it's definitely going to be a tricky transfer window, especially if Sunderland are concentrating on the French League One, and the whole James Tompkins thing. It gives you a whole realisation as to why they are, and you can't blame them. Yes, we've got a few good homegrown players in there. Damn right we have. You know, the likes of Duncan Watmore, Reece Greenwood, is it? Oh fuck yeah, the name eludes me, but yeah, you kind of know where I'm going. Jordan Pickford, you know, the young ones are coming through, gone through the academy. But the whole James Tompkins thing, it shows why some clubs are starting to look abroad, because English players are becoming too damn expensive. And you know, before any fucker, any Geordie, any Manchester United fan jumps on, oh, they're not that expensive. Yeah, you seem to forget. Okay, right. Well, apart from Newcastle, because you're a bit skinny at the minute, you know. But yeah. So you know, the likes of Man United and Chelsea's, yeah, you have the money to go out and buy these players. You can go spend 15, 20, 25 million on an English defender, an English attacker. Actually, scratch the attacker and the defender, because actually, who would want to sign any English player? Really, who would at the minute? Who would, after the fucking travesty at the Euros? So yeah, well, I don't even know why I'm actually talking about this, to be honest. After that, but yeah, you know, the price, it just goes to show why clubs are looking abroad. You know, big clubs can afford them, but mid-range clubs, you know, the likes of your Sunderland, your West Broms, even Swansea, Crystal Palace as well. Southampton finished in the top half, didn't they? I'm trying to think. Even Everton, because Everton, the relegation scrap, a bit of a worry going on there, wasn't there, near the end of last season? But even Everton as well, because they started dipping in form as well. Players not performing, and it just goes to show why clubs are looking abroad. Because while there is a lack of English talent, the talent that there is, it's fucking ridiculously overpriced. It really is. £10 million for Tompkins. If you'd have said 6-7, I'd have said, yeah, fair enough. He's a good player. He's got a good future ahead of him, that's for sure. But £10 million, it's a tough ask, isn't it? It really is. And this is where the likes of Sunderland, Swansea, Everton have to rely on their academies to bring players through. Which it's not an easy fate to do, is it? It really isn't, because you've got to start young, mature them, get them used to the game, and the only way you can really introduce them, unless you're Marcus Rashford, of course, by the way, best player at the Euros, is literally in a cup game. That's the only way you can really do it, is to introduce them that way, then slowly introduce them to the Premier League. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Any rumours you've heard, comment below, because I'm being shouted by my daughter. There it is again. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Where do we go from here, Sunderland fans, eh? And Newcastle fans, don't forget, let me know about that stupid transfer that you did. Honest to God, because I really want to know. And I'll see you all for another transfer video. Hopefully, we'll have signed someone by then. Fingers fucking crossed, eh?